Hey everyone, in today's video, I wanted to go over some of the processes that we take when we onboard a new client when it comes to outbound and what we believe is a necessary process for any team to do outbound successfully. Now, a lot of the times we speak about messaging and why it's important to write good messages that stand out and all these kind of things and the channels to use, which is great. And I will be talking about that as well. But half the battle when it comes to outbound is timing and being able to target people at the right time with the right message. So the messaging aspect is important, but also the targeting and when you are reaching out to them. So half the things that we do here at BizDev Labs is think about targeting and who do we want to message. So we call this buying triggers. We come up with buying triggers for every customer that we work with, and every company will have different buying triggers, right? Depending on the product and service that they're selling. So when we onboard, we discuss what the potential buying triggers look like. I just put a few over here, and I want to give you a quick tour of some of the examples that you might want to consider. But what that allows us to do is find people at the right time, right? Which helps us improve conversion and stand out. A lot of the beliefs that we have here at BizDev Labs is driving relevancy at scale. Personalization is great, and when you personalize a relevant email, it's even more powerful. But if it's not relevant and it is personalized, it'll never work, right? So first, you make it relevant, and you make it relevant with buying triggers. So let me give you a few examples. One of the buying triggers, I'll keep it very simple, is event attendees, right? So they attended an event in your industry, or they're going to attend an event. That is a very quick, easy introduction to why you're messaging them. Hey, I noticed you're going to this event, or hey, I noticed you went to this event, right? Right away, you are driving that relevancy to them. And it's also a really good way to source potential prospects, right? If they went to an industry event, it's likely they are a potential buyer of yours, right? So it also helps you with prospecting. One of the favorite ones here at BizDev Labs is companies that raised funding. We use software tools like Crunchbase. So if you just raised funding, that's typically a really good time to reach out to someone. So, hey, I know you just raised funding. Also, you don't necessarily have to mention that they raised funding, because I know a lot of people do that in their messaging, which can get pretty annoying for prospects. But it is a good signal, right? If somebody just raised funding, it is a good signal to go and reach out to them. Typically, they are growing, they're looking for new tools, and they're hiring and all that. Other types that are a little bit less spoken about is that they're similar to your clients. So one of the first things we do is we look at the list of clients that our customers have, and we expand it, right? So for every client, there's 4 or 5 competitors or others in the industry that are very similar. So let's reach out to them and, hey, we are working with this company who's similar to yours. Why wouldn't you be interested? Right? So it's kind of like an easy conversation starter. Same thing as they're already using a competitor of yours. That could be a buying signal. If you're able to find that they're using a competitor, you can start a conversation. Other things might include intent data. So they visited your website or clicked an ads, stuff like that. You can work with marketing on that. Some of the other favorite ones are they're actively hiring. So whether they're hiring for a certain position typically means they're focused on that department, right? So if they're hiring a VP of operations, they're probably building out their systems and infrastructure, and that's a good opportunity. Or if somebody just started in a new role in the last 60 days, 30 days, it's also a good conversation starter. A lot of the times there are similarities between buying triggers from one company to the next, which makes the process very repeatable and strong. The messaging will change a little bit, but the targeting is a lot the same. There's really good ones here. I call it a first touch sequence. If they've never heard of you before, they're completely cold. The targeting and how you're messaging them is going to be different than a referral one. A referral one is very interesting. You can find people that are connected to each other on LinkedIn. LinkedIn makes it very easy to do that, and you can ask for introductions. That could be a buying trigger, and you can do that once a month and reach out to your network and see if they can refer you to people, right? So another thing is the scheduling of these buying triggers. There's ones that you can do every day. There's ones that you can do weekly and some monthly or yearly or whatever, right? So for example, closed lost ops, you cannot do it every day. You can't do it every month, But every quarter, it makes sense to go back to all your closed ops and try to reach out to them, right? So all these kind of things. Oh, one of my other favorites is social selling sequence. If somebody liked your content, somebody liked your company's content, or a similar topic, that's a really good opportunity to go and engage. That's something that I do daily and weekly, right? So people like my content, people like other people's content in my industry or the same topic that I'm interested in, and I can start a conversation. So the reason why I'm mentioning schedules is because you want to be very consistent with this. The buying triggers and the sales triggers that you can do daily, and they will compound. Eventually, what will happen is that you will find triggers that are more effective than others, and you'll just double down on those. The messaging will work, the targeting will work, and it'll just help you scale. So imagine you told your SDR team, hey, once a month, at the beginning of the month, you're going to do this sales trigger to these people with this message, because we know it works. We've done it so many times, which is why, by the way, one of the requirements for this process when we're onboarding a new client is A/B testing. We don't know which sales trigger is going to be the most impactful and repeatable. But we do know that if we test it out over a 3-month period, we're going to find top sales triggers. Let me give you another example. One of the companies we're working with is doing instant video scheduling. So if you want a demo of the product, you can talk to sales directly right away without having to wait to book a demo. One of the sales triggers we picked for them is chatbots. So if your company or a company already has a chatbot on their website, to us, that's a good indicator that we can go and talk to them about instant scheduling instead, or as a complementary solution. So something might look like this. Hey, I noticed you have a chatbot on your website. Have you ever compared it with the results of instant scheduling? The reason I ask is because XYZ. And that I can do daily. Every day I can find companies that have chatbots on their website and introduce the idea. Right? So things like that. Anyways, you get the point. We go through a process of this is the messaging, this is the pain that the person with this sales trigger might experience. Each one of them might have a different positioning, right? So if somebody just changed jobs, it might be a different pain point than a company that raised funding. So you have to take that into consideration. We put some things that we believe about this persona or the person in the sales trigger, and we figure out the call to action. Cool. Then it separates into email campaign, LinkedIn campaign. You can go on both channels, but like I said, schedule it out. Be consistent with each sales trigger so you can have enough data to actually compare which sales trigger works and which doesn't, and then scale it up. I hope this process helps. There's a lot of different buying triggers. I posted about it the other day, and I'm sure you guys have your own unique versions and ideas of what a sales trigger could look like. But I really recommend creating sequences and messaging and campaigns around sales triggers, right? We want to be hyper relevant, and we want to build a scalable BDR model. So imagine your BDR team had all these sales triggers layered out, and each sales trigger had their own sequence, and they get to choose which one they want to use today, and they have the whole workflow, right? All the messaging is already built out. Here's what to do for this sales trigger. Here's what to message them. Here's when to do it. All these stuff. It makes the process very easy to follow. Imagine like a flow chart. And that's what we do. So we create that process. We have it all filled out on Excel, each sales trigger with all the information. And then we go, and every day we know exactly what to do, who to message, what to message them about. And that helps us be super efficient and relevant in our outreach. Hope you guys like this video. Hope it helps, and take care. Talk soon.